people who are important, let's get them out on stage real quickly. It's drum roll. Oh, we don't have one tonight, but Christian Felix and Shanali Bowman.
Hey!
Oh, hey!
Come on now, Justin, you're important. That's our intern, everybody.
There's Justin the intern, everybody.
You matter, my man. Interns matter just as much as everybody else.
You say so.
Hi, Christian.
Shanali, you're looking fantastic on this August evening, I have to say. You just look better.
And what about that
as the
Jason
day.
and Jiminy music that introed the show? My God.
I gotta say, I felt like they were channeling my twin sister, Julie. If you're listening, Julie, that sounded like the soundtrack of our childhood. But you know, we gotta start the show.
Yeah, you ready, you guys?
I was waiting for this. Two. A one.
1, 2, 3, 4. We don't even know. We don't even know.
Come on, Shanali, with Christian Felix,
Shanali Bowman, and Justin the intern.
We don't even know. Not even this song. We don't even know. No, we don't. We don't even know. Shanali sounds awesome with Christian Felix,
Shanali Bowman, and Justin the intern.
We don't
even know.
I'm so happy we rehearsed that, Shanali. That was amazing. That was
I know.
amazing.
I love it. I love the delay on Zoom. It makes it sound, even cooler than we are. Love it.
I can't speak for yourself, my friend.
Wow, guys. Well, it's been August. We're on the 5th month of a pandemic. We've survived. The three of us have been very, very careful. Even when we saw each other, we were socially distanced with masks. And, knock on wood, feeling grateful for all of you that have suffered. We hear you. We love you. We're going to be diligent for you. But there are things that have been happening in this pandemic that I was talking to Christian about. Justin, I'm pretty sure you know about this, but people have been stealing bicycles in this city. And it's all over the city. And it actually caused me to be really careful. I met Christian this weekend on my bike, and we were locking up our bikes. And I was concerned that I should lock the front tire, even though there were people around. We were in an area where people were walking in the daytime. And he didn't make fun of me, but he was not as concerned as I was about my bike.
I'm here. I'm here, by the way. I'm here.
Yeah. Sorry. Christian, you weren't as concerned. I'm just telling Justin this story. You weren't as concerned about your bike as I was not. And your bike is newer and nicer than mine. But I just know when you slack in these cases, things happen to me if I don't.
My bike got stolen inside last year. It was in a garage.
Justin, all I gotta say, Justin, is Shanali's basing all of her assessment on nonverbals. I was only saying supportive things while she spent a good 10 minutes trying to lock up her bike.
You were supportive.
I helped hold her, but she did read the nonverbals correctly. I thought she was going a little bit over the top with the bicycle vigilance, but I didn't say anything. Now karma does exist. Now, before we jump into it, Shanali, I would be remiss there are a lot of things going on in the world, and I'm just so happy I'm spending our time and our evening with you and not at some fake ass convention. I also just want to note that our thoughts and our prayers are with Jacob Blake and everything that's going on in Kenosha. I have some problems, and the problems I have are very little compared to what's happening there. So I know we'll probably circle back to that, but back to my bicycle. People are talking about Brooklyn and New York, a crime spree, a crime wave. It's true, I have a really nice bike, and I was a little skeptical because I live in an area that's pretty quiet. Granted, I'm not going out at night too much, but on the heels of me non-verbally dismissing Shanali's bicycle concerns, Jason, if you would please share the screen, I woke up to a text from my landlord with this. You can see the gentleman with box cutters The Brooklyn bike thief is on the prowl. I've highlighted him for all of you. If you live in Brooklyn, be on the alert. He
Park
came
Slope.
by. He came. Let's not be too
Well,
specific.
people need to be aware. We got to share the knowledge.
The Park Slope, Gowanus, Sunset Park area. The gentleman rolled up in a vehicle, came out, had 3 different different kinds of machines to try to break the kryptonite. If you can continue on. As you can see, he had 3 different kinds of bolt cutters, and he's literally sitting on the bolt cutter, and he was rocking back and forth like a seesaw.
I see him sitting. I see him sitting
and he
on
was
the
putting all his weight
Yeah,
trying
you
to
gotta see
break
it.
my kryptonite U-lock. And I'm telling you, this is a plug for kryptonite. They ain't got nothing on my kryptonite U-lock. He could not break it. Now let's continue on with my story.
Oh.
Now, the cops, they showed up in a timely manner. These were good cops, an example of
Wow.
the kind of police I want in my hood. I want to
Wow.
thank them for that. They didn't stick around.
What time, Christian, what
This
time
is
was
at
it?
4:45 a.m.
Wow.
Now, if we could continue on. Look
Well,
at
look-
that. My U-lock
Wow.
stayed intact.
Wow.
I had to use a hammer to break it off, but they didn't take my bicycle. My U-lock saved the day. Kryptonite received an email from me asking if I could get a new lock because this one doesn't work anymore, but thanking them that I still have my bicycle. If we can continue on. And
Yes.
there's my baby. There's my baby. There's my
that's
baby. My bicycle's
big.
up safe and sound
This
in my
is
apartment right now.
amazing because we literally talked about this the day before.
We did.
I can't believe, I'm so happy your bike is safe. But this is to say, I'm going to thank, a shout out to Mia Jung, who's been one of our Get It Off Your Chest contributors. She was the one who told me weeks ago, watch your bike. Everybody wants a bike right now.
Now, Chanel, you know, this is a bigger lesson for me that, you know, the lessons that you teach sometimes are worth listening to.
Thank you. I know you're my brother, and that's by virtue you don't listen to me, but there are reasons why
That's
you
not
listen
true.
to family.
I listen to you I guess not all the time. Let's just land it on that.
Okay.
Now, Chanel,
Okay.
you know, there's a lot of things in this pandemic that we've been having to rely on ourselves for. And
Yes.
I noticed that, I've actually noticed that you've taken something into your own hands, literally.
I did. I got the courage. I still couldn't see myself. And for all of you that are hairstylists, I appreciate your work. I just still don't feel comfortable right now going into a salon. I'm sure there are people that have social distancing and ways to do this safely, but I just can't see it. So my hair was out of control. And I know, I wish I had a picture of that, but I will say I just went out, I cut off 3 inches and I did it in the most professional way I could, which is to pull the sides, and then
It's looking good.
had a clip on top, and I just cut 3 inches all over. And
You did that yourself? You haven't done any kind of training, no beauty school, no type of
Nope.
finishing
no
school?
beauty school.
No
I'm not a beauty
salon?
school. Nope.
I mean, 3 inches, let's just break that down. I mean, you know, I'm getting some, 3 inches is a lot. When you have long hair, you realize 3 inches is no joke. That's a bit of a chop.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Christian, because the day of the haircut, you're the first person. Jasper wasn't even here. Christian was the first person that I felt comfortable enough sharing the first looks, okay? So, I thought, you know what, this is gonna be funny. I'll do a series of not videos, but of shots so people can see how this is gonna turn out, and it's gonna turn out awesome.
Shanali, I just wanna say this, that before Jason, you start to share, and granted, you're not gonna see everything. I just wanna say this is a cautionary tale. When you are putting yourself out there like that with a new look, you at least wanna try to kind of
putting it, no,
put
it out there. You're my friend. You're one of my best friends. I'm not putting myself out there. I was just sharing with you first. So as we show a few pics, I'm gonna talk about support and being a good friend during a pandemic. Christian is a great friend because you'll see. Let's start sharing picture one. The first picture here. Now this was dry cutting is all the rage. So this was me doing the dry haircut, okay? And there's
And
a bit of it.
there wasn't much context. I don't know much about dry cut, wet cut, so much cut. I don't know about that. And so Shanali sent me this picture, and I could see that she was trying kind of rock and roll, you know.
I didn't try.
So it was good. It looked good. I was supportive of this.
This is sort of like Tina Turner. This was prior. My hair's curly, so this was the dry cut when it was relatively dirty and straighter. That's straighter for me. Okay, now pick number two. Okay, this is me. Okay, let's just say in between this, I'm gonna tell Christian from this. Oh, thank you, Sue. You're the best. I love you, Sue. This pic, as compared to the prior, there was one in between, and I'm being very open here. I shared it with Christian. I deleted it.
Shanali, in the spirit of full transparency, and you know, here we don't even know that we really try to put everything on the table. Now, I am honoring you that we didn't put it in the slideshow, but ladies and gentlemen, when you get a picture from your bestie and she's looking like that, that's gonna challenge you to respond in a way that is positive, okay?
He wasn't supposed to do that.
She was giving me soccer mom in this picture that we chose for you all. Now that's an improvement.
He said soccer mom, and he said RA. Now both those things are two things I've never been. And there's nothing positive. No offense to you soccer moms out there. I love that your kids do soccer. And if you're an RA, you're doing a meaningful job. I've never been those things. I don't want to be.
Well, you could have fooled me.
He laid that on me right away. So I'm going to tell you guys, it took a week for me to share publicly any pics. It's been a week. And so the next one is one, like this is me being okay, right? This is what I was going for, Christian. I wasn't trying to be an RA. You know what I mean?
Now I do. Now I'm seeing the real Shanali, and I'm saying I was supportive. And after those first couple of pics, especially the one that traumatized me that I showed on my phone, I told you to give it a minute. And for all the guys out there and for everybody
Jason,
who are supportive in terms of friends, I'm saying that is some really good feedback to give your friends who have done a big style change, that you're still a little, the jury's still out, you know, in your mind. You say, let's give it a minute. You know what I'm saying?
Well, let me just say, Christian, you were sort of nice. There was a part of what you were saying that I appreciated.
That's unusual.
You told me, let's give it a minute. And it was like the collective us. So it was like my hair was yours. And so you knew I was in a bind.
Exactly.
And I needed to I appreciate it. So if you have friends.
Shanali, I was sort of nice because you sort of looked okay. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's the balance.
Jason.
Look who's popping up.
Oh, we got our guest. We didn't get to introduce. Let me introduce before we are moving on. Just to say, you guys could cut your hair if you have a good friend who can tell you how it is and give yourself some time, like help, do yourself a favor, reach out to friends that you trust that will only share a terrible picture of you after the fact when you feel better about yourself. He wasn't supposed to do that, just so you know. I will remember that. All of you that agree with me down there.
Let's introduce our guest, Shanali. Come on.
It's hard. It's hard to move on from that. It's hard. Okay, guys, we are so privileged, excited. We have this fantastic comedian who is also a scientist, and he's actually a virologist, like virology. We'll ask him more about that. I feel like I know what that is, but the scientist knows better. His name is Raj Sivaraman, and here he is. Let's say hi. What's up, Raj?
Hi.
Good to see you.
Thanks
for
good to
being
see you.
with us.
Yeah, it's been a while.
I know. So,
We saw
Christian, I just want you to know, Raj is one of the last people I saw besides you.
Oh, wow.
For the pandemic, because the day before you and I went to that show, the Sunday. That Saturday, I went to see Maeve Higgins' movie,
Right.
Extraordinary, and Raj and his wife were there, and we all hung out after at a bar, the bar at that, I forget what that theater's called.
Alamo bar.
Yes, the Alamo bar. And we had so much fun, and we were definitely like a bit in tune with like things could change, but obviously we had no idea how bad it was going to be. We were not social distance, and we did not have on masks. So, and we survived.
Different time.
Yeah. Did you get COVID-19?
No, not to my knowledge. I've gotten both the antibody test and the RNA test, and both were negative. So
same
And
here.
it-
I mean, I
it
haven't
was
done antibodies.
Have you been in New York the whole time?
I actually just moved. We were in New York, Brooklyn until end of June. We moved July 1st to Arizona because I was like, it was going down in New York, and I was like, let's go somewhere that's a little bit more COVID. So then we moved to Arizona. I couldn't get enough COVID.
You needed a place that had more. No way. You're in Arizona now?
Yeah.
Is there going to be some degree of permanence with that move, or are you planning on coming back, or is this kind of a new kind of chapter?
Yeah, I think this is a permanent move. We moved down here to be like close to my wife's family, and they all live down here. So yeah. So
And how has it been going from like COVID, like one COVID hotspot? Because when you moved, it was like we were just kind of getting over it, and now you're in Arizona, where it's. I mean, is it as like kind of bad as like our perceptions are of it, that people just don't care?
It's like bizarro land. So I went through, like you guys, all the New York's, everything's shut down, like lockdown. You're in your home, and anytime, because we have a kid, you can probably hear him in the background crying, but he, you have to get out of the house, out of their apartment. And so we'd have like a nightly walk just around in our neighborhood because there's nothing else you can do, and just to get out of the house. And every time we'd set foot outside, it was just like daggers, people staring at you, like, nobody knowing like what to do, people jumping into the street to avoid you. Like, it's everything like they would yell at us for our son, he's now 16 months, but at the time he was 12, he was 1 year old, like about him not wearing a mask. And it's like, good luck getting a 1 year old to, I can't even get him to wear shades, which are cool.
So these are the attitudes that you were experiencing in Arizona.
No, this is in New York.
That was in New York, right?
Yeah.
That was New York, right?
So then you come here, and everyone drives here, so it's a whole different thing, and no one walks. But everyone acts like nothing's happening, like businesses are operating like normal. There are tables that are separating other people, so you're not sitting right next to each other if you go out to a restaurant, but everyone's out at restaurants, like parties of 8, 10, 12 people. And
Wow.
it's crazy.
I can see, it's weird because I used to go fairly regularly for the past couple of years to Phoenix, and like there is space out, right? It's like the desert. It's like things are like spread out. And so I feel like can be like kind of a false sense of like, we're just always in our cars, we're spread out. And then to your point about the driving, I typically don't have a car when I go. And sometimes I'll have to like leave the hotel to go somewhere. And I just feel like, almost like homeless without a car, like just like walking in Arizona. It's like, and nobody walks in Arizona, it's so weird. So it's like a night and day from like New York. So that
outside of New York,
culture shock.
Yeah, it's also like peak summer here, so it's like 115 every day. So there's like, for somebody who's not trying to go anywhere, and now it's like when New York was like, the rules really came down on you, and you have the strictest rules possible, and then Arizona's like, there are no rules, and you're just trying to like make your own rules, which is not the easiest thing to do.
No.
To be like, I don't want to go out, but everyone else is going out.
Well, this goes to, for you especially, like all of us, we're pretty conscientious being in a city where we lost the most people in this country in a short amount of time. But on top of that, you're a scientist and a comedian. So this is,
Yeah.
put it all together.
There's comedy in
So-
there somehow.
Yeah, I'm sure. But it's got to be really tough for you. It's really tough for us. And we think we know something, but you do know things. And so,
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much to that question, but like being a scientist right now is probably has to be one of the toughest times in history. And then at the same time, it's also the best because we need you, Can you tell us what your PhD is in? So that might even.
Yeah, so my background is I have a PhD in virology. I studied viruses. I didn't study coronavirus. I studied herpes viruses in graduate school, and then I studied retroviruses, so like HIV, as a postdoc. So I did that for about almost 10 years, and then kind of left all of that, and I do work with pharmaceutical companies as a medical writer. So but it's weird now because my wife regularly has to hear me just yell at the Today Show for saying stupid things. There was and you probably heard this the neck gaiter study that came out a week ago that said if you wear a neck gaiter, it's the worst thing you can possibly do.
Yes, and I'm all about the neck gaiter. So, Raj,
yeah.
any advice, or what's your take on it?
So the problem is that there's right now, because this virus is spread through droplets in the air, so now you have all these physicists who are oh, now I can make some studies on aerosol dynamics. I study aerosol dynamics. This is what we do. Let's make the big bucks leveraging this coronavirus research. And so you have all these studies that are looking well, you wear this and then droplets go like this, and then you do this. But these droplets don't have virus in them, and they're not measuring virus. They're not looking at virus. They're not doing any means of detecting whether any of these droplets that are in the air are actually virus-containing droplets. So it's really kind of misleading garbage science that's and then I've heard of so many people shaming neck gaiter wearers about, wearing a neck gaiter, where, to be honest, anything that covers your mouth is better than nothing. And what that study said was neck gaiters are worse than wearing nothing.
Right. Exactly.
Insane to me.
Exactly. And that's where it landed to me. And I was kind of what is this saying? This is so not helpful. So happy for the clarity. And, I get it that it may not be the most effective, but for the way I live my life and what I'm doing, it seemed to be working just fine. I've had 2 antibody tests for what it's worth. But yeah, it's you're getting all these mixed messages. So that was really nice to get some clarity around that. My question to you is, now that we're in one of probably the biggest health crisis that we've ever faced in our lives, is there anything from your perspective and the knowledge that or the kind of the viruses that you were studying that scares you more than this?
Yeah, geez. Good question. So, I mean, to be honest, I feel this is the kind of the Goldilocks scenario, or whatever the opposite of Goldilocks is. So it's this is the perfect storm of a virus that's pretty contagious, but not too contagious. It's lethal, but not too lethal.
Wow.
So that people if this was Ebola, everyone would be staying at home being I don't want to bleed out of my eyes.
Yes.
But because it's oh, it's a flu, not a big deal. Most so many people dismissed it for months and months and months, and people are still dismissing it. And I think that the combination of the way that this virus operates and the fact that we've been living in a country run by a president who's the dumbest person ever, who just makes poor decision after poor decision after poor decision. I think it really is a perfect, nothing scares me more than really what we're going through right now. Because
that's kind of good to know that we've reached kind of rock bottom from your perspective.
I mean, yeah, I feel there's not really much worse that could happen. I feel in any scenario, if it was worse, we would respond better. But we're responding exactly the worst amount that we possibly can.
Right.
So it's just a mixture of these factors. Got it.
We have a question that's off topic, but it's a question about, have you experienced In-N-Out burgers in Arizona? Have you gone to
I'm vegetarian, so I have
there
I've
you
had
go.
an In-N-Out. I've gone to In-N-Out. I've heard nothing but great things about In-N-Out. I went there and got a stupid cheese sandwich. And,
You know what?
and I'm like,
so this is
okay.
to say, Raj and I are both Indian, and we're also both Southern. I did not know you
That's
grew
right.
up in Kentucky.
Yeah.
I grew up in Tennessee. So we have these similar backgrounds, and I did get the hand over the mouth Native American call when I was a kid, and it always made me feel smart. I remember that, thinking, you don't know what I am. But the comment about he's vegetarian, and I grew up with so many vegetarian friends, and my family was not. But we would go to all these burger places and taco places, and my friends that are still my friends would just order everything without the meat, and they seemed so like well adjusted with it, like that nobody would. It was so sweet. I remember going like, "Wow, you're gonna get a hamburger."
They were looking out for you.
Hamburger, yeah. We just
so
seemed
nice.
happy. We were going to McDonald's for a burger without the burger, and I'm sure, Raj, you've experienced that throughout your life until the last 10 years.
Yeah.
How long? Yeah.
No, I stopped being vegetarian when I was in high school.
Okay.
Or I started being vegetarian when I was in high school. So I
Oh.
ate meat as a kid, and then like my senior year in high school, I stopped eating meat just because my whole family was vegetarian, and I felt
Right.
like the weirdo. And then so I was like, I don't really like meat. I just like the other stuff with meat.
So you kind of joined the family trend, so to speak.
Yeah.
So where in Kentucky did you grow up?
Lexington.
Did you like it?
Yes and no.
I'm sorry, but there's like when a Southern person gets the question, "Did you like it?" It always comes with a sense of it couldn't have been good for you. Christian. That's what we get a lot. So it's interesting.
I mean, my question is definitely
these Northerners.
I've been
because he's from Chicago.
But it's based on my experience. When I was in high school, I did 2 or 3 service trips to Harlan County, Kentucky, which is kind of in the Appalachia region.
Oh yeah.
And I did like Habitat for Humanity. So it's not like I've never been to Kentucky. And as like a biracial black kid, I was the only black kid on the service trip. And I had a pretty kind of crazy experience. We were doing this work for this old woman, and I was working on the roof. We were repairing her roof. And my guidance counselor, like the head person who was on the trip, was like, "Christian, stay up on the roof." And I was like, okay. And then next thing we saw was this like random like dude walking down the middle of the street in town with a shotgun saying like, "Oh, I'm going like rattlesnake hunting," or something like that. But there was this kind of like,
that would have been Jasper. That would have been my husband.
There was this undercurrent of like, they're looking for you kind of thing. You're the black kid, like be careful. And so I guess my question to you was like, definitely coming from a place of bias, like, you know, being who you are and like your cultural background at the time that you were growing up in a place that is
he gets it, Christian.
not being as inclusive. My question to you, did
What
you like growing
I'm
up?
from Kentucky. I'm slow. I don't really understand things.
Well, Shanali wouldn't even let me ask the question, so I had to defend myself.
We got it from the beginning. That was my point.
Did you like the question? I mean, you didn't like the question. Did you like?
I love the question. Great question.
Did you like growing up there?
Yeah, I mean, Lexington is definitely not Harlan County, Eastern Kentucky. So, I mean, Lexington is where the University of Kentucky is. It's a lot more cosmopolitan. And when I grew up, they built a Toyota factory in Georgetown. So there was like a lot of international business that was around Lexington, relatively speaking to the rest of Kentucky. So in some ways, I liked that I was able to get some culture, but there was definitely microaggressions was the hallmark of my childhood.
Say that one more time.
Microaggressions was definitely the hallmark.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah, of my childhood. So there was a lot of like things that were just like, ooh, okay.
So, and this is just to contrast. Christian and I are very close, so we give each other a hard time. I loved growing up in Nashville, Tennessee. So I have these debates with Jasper too. Yeah, I get sensitive when someone approaches me with regard to the South, which sounds like a projection of how bad it is. And I have to point out that not everything in the South is bad at all. So
I lived in Boston for 5 years, so
there you go.
And
There you go.
definitely the South is not the worst.
Did you experience just as many microaggressions as well?
Oh yeah.
I mean, people ask me when I grew up in a predominantly white area in Deerfield and Evanston, people ask me, did you like growing up there? So I've experienced that question as well with people who are not from my area. So I think it's a pretty neutral question, but moving
not for
on,
Southerners.
not for,
Anyway,
clearly
Christian,
not for you,
moving on.
Chanel.
We have something to take care of. Raj, two things.
Yeah.
One, how's comedy in Arizona?
I don't know. I just moved here, and I'm like, I'm not going to. I don't even know what you do.
Yeah, well, exactly. It's like
you do a
comedy.
virtual mic where I get depressed by people.
I know.
It's like a work meeting.
Totally. And you know what? Comedians need a break. I know that people want to make money and want to tour and do, but for the most part, so many of my friends do comedy because they love it. It can't be done right now in a room. And well, here's what Christian and I talked about. I was thinking about, since you're a scientist, and at this time in our world, we are having like this complete like two realities. It's topsy-turvy, where science is competing with conspiracy theories and hoaxes, and it's nonstop. And there's a whole new, like, I just had a friend that told me her mom, she was like, help save my mom. She's now a QAnon follower, believer, which my brain is like, what? You know, they've got moms, you know. Anyway, so I'm going to quiz you, since you are one of the only guests that have ever been on Jeopardy.
Oh, geez, this is traumatic for me.
I
I didn't win.
I think
I know, with that song too.
It's okay though.
Yeah, it's terrible.
You got on the show. You got on the show. I have plenty of friends that can't get on the show. I mean, it's a big deal.
That is true. That is true. So kudos to that.
I'm going to read to you a sentence. I'm going to do like 3 or 4 of these, and you tell me, question form, what is the name of this conspiracy theory? All right?
Okay.
For those of you, like my mom at home, she may not know that these things exist. And for you, it's probably going to be easy. But here's the first one. In 2016, the personal email account of John Podesta, Hillary Clinton's campaign manager, was hacked in a spear phishing attack. WikiLeaks published his emails in 2016. Proponents of this conspiracy theory falsely claimed the emails contained coded messages that connected several high-ranking Democratic Party officials and U.S. restaurants with an alleged human trafficking and child sex ring. One of the establishments allegedly involved was Comet Ping Pong.
Okay, he's hitting his button, Chanel. He has enough. So wait, Raj, before you answer, I just want to give 5 seconds to our audience members listening at home. We're going to replicate Jeopardy, so you can have 5 seconds to answer and input before Raj answers. Do.
Go ahead.
Ding, 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 ding.
Technically, I would have to wait until Chanel finishes.
Fair enough, but you know what? This is WDEK Jeopardy, so I'm glad you interrupted that. So, talk to us. What's your answer?
What is Pizzagate?
Yes, ding, 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 ding. I have a special affinity for how awful this conspiracy theory is, because I would go there often with my nieces and my family in DC.
We actually played together, Chanel.
Yes. Comet is one of my favorite ping pong pizza places. Todd Berry has accompanied me there, and it's just awful. The people that own it are wonderful. So,
well, Chanel, it sounds like we're dealing with a very woke contestant. Perhaps you want to give him a little less of a clue for this next conspiracy.
Christian, this is not just for Raj. This is for our audience. We have a show here.
Right.
Calm down.
All right. I'll be better for the show. I'm sorry, guys.
Calm down. Okay, you ready? The novel coronavirus pandemic in early 2020 gave rise to the false belief that it was due to the rise of the introduction of new 5G wireless towers in China. What is that conspiracy theory related to? Anybody in the audience?
Dude, Raj, she put you in a tight spot. Rude.
Man, I just know that. Oh.
That was a thing. Did you know that?
I know it's 5G towers, but
That's it. It's the name is in the question. I don't think they do that on Jeopardy, but it is. It's the trick. 5G.
So the answer was actually in the question.
Yeah.
The question wasn't.
Here's the last one. A movement in the United States of America that doubts or denies that the 44th president, Barack Obama, is a natural-born U.S. citizen, thus implying that he is ineligible to be president.
Are we doing the audience opportunity?
Ding, 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 ding.
Birtherism.
Birtherism. Let's hear it.
Aren't they? They're doing that for Kamala now.
Kamala. Now
they are
it's
doing
going
it
to
for
be
Kamala.
me, Raj. It's going to be me. It's going to be the president himself.
And actually, to the first one that you referenced, the QAnon, there are actually 3 people who have passed the primary stage and are going to be in general elections who actually believe this conspiracy theory. So it's some serious ass
You guys, please vote. Vote. Make sure you got a plan.
The last thing before we let Raj go, though, I have to say to you, Raj, your shirt game coordinated with your drape game is the best I have seen. It actually looks like the same material. I wanted to ask, is it?
It's different, but that's my style. The shirts always match the drapes.
And on that note,
Raj, thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. Stay safe in that Arizona state of yours.
And love to your family too. All right.
Thank you.
Yeah. Let's hear it for Raj Sivaraman. Thank you for being with us. Bye.
Thank you.
Wow. Are you kidding? He's in Arizona now.
Brave soul, brave man.
No, that's the thing is so many people left New York and now they want to be here again.
That's true.
Yeah. And he actually rode out the storm with us. So it wasn't like he left at the beginning.
Exactly.
All right. Well, we're sending you the best, Raj. Stay diligent, stay tough, and thank you for answering those really difficult questions. And Christian, thank you for asking that important question about Kentucky.
Thank you, Shanali, for letting me ask that question. I appreciate
it. Well, for our very special Get It Off Your Chest tonight, one of our biggest moments in We Don't Even Know History because it's never been done before, our audience guest that's going to join us tonight is my husband, Jasper Patch. Let's hear it. Jasper, come on over. Let's see. He's been working all day. He seems like a
Jazzy. There he is, the painter with the painter.
Come closer to me. Get in the light.
Man, Jazzy, you're looking good, my man, after a long day of work.
Thank you, Christian. I appreciate that.
I don't know if a lot of people know what you actually are up to these days. I mean, I think we should just jump to it.
I'm a fisherman.
Jason, would you be able to share Jazzy's latest projects before we jump into our Get It Off Your Chest? Okay, before we move on, hold on, time out.
Oh, I see that.
Jasper sent me, hold on, go back to that picture. Jasper sent me this picture. This was a stage after the haircut that Shanali went through a period of days after my friendly feedback was, give it a minute. Apparently, she interpreted that minute to be about 72 hours, where she would wear a baseball cap, even inside the house. And Jazzy called her out because she was still having some awkward hair moments with the
I didn't even know he took that. So these are the men in my life. These are the things they do. They take pictures of me and share them behind my back. This is the kind of men I have.
Shanali, it looks like you're posing in that picture.
I wasn't. I was not. I was saying you better not.
Okay, so moving on after Shanali's troubled hair moments. So this is on Saturday. We were socially distant hanging in Soho, and that, would you call it a mural, Jazzy? Is that an appropriate term?
Mm-hmm.
The mural that you see behind you, is that the work of Jasper and his colleague? Remind me of his name.
Polly.
Pauly, that's right. So that's what Jazzy's been up to.
Yeah.
I mean, it's huge. You can see those cranes. He's like 30.
Look how little Jasper is.
Look, can you make it? Can you go forward? No, I mean, yeah, there's Jazzy. He's taking a picture of us, but I mean, advance.
Oh!
Yeah, there we go. There he is up there. Keep on going. There he is with the hat. He has that hat on because it gets really hot out there in the New York sun. And let's keep on going.
Oh, you gotta zoom out. Oh,
There's a couple of lovebirds.
this is my lovebird.
Good luck with work. You can see her little.
You notice my shorts are going up my butt crack. That's one thing.
I was going to comment on your shoes, Shanali. It's a little bit nicer to look at.
The shoes I appreciate. Yes, gold. I love that. I
All
had
right.
to have a little bit.
Oh wait, hold on. All right, so you can stop sharing the screen. That's what Jazzy's been up to. And now it's time for Get It Off Your Chest.
Thanks for sharing that, Christian. That's what Jasper does. He's an amazing painter, and he stands on his feet all day in the heat outside. So whenever you feel like complaining because you're hot, just think of Jasper. Not that you decided to be a painter, but you know, I have to do that.
That's why
you have no air conditioning on right now.
That's why you make him wash his feet every night before he gets in bed, Shanali?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
that's the reason. Okay, Jazzy.
All right, let's do this. We got to do this. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Get it off your chest. Get it off. Get it off your chest. Get it off. Get it off your chest. Get it off. Oh my goodness.
Oh man, all right. I got two ones because they're real quick, short and sweet. The first one, this just really is about everybody who's on these Zoom calls. Oh, Shanali's leaving for my Get It Off Your Chest. The first one is Jazzy. I don't like when people do call and response when they're the only ones talking to Zoom or people who can't call and respond. So like, hey, say it with me, like we the people, and nobody can respond. So that annoys me. And like these virtual speeches, don't ask for a call and response if you can't get a call and response. The second one hits a little bit closer to home for me. I happen to curate and make a summer mixtape for me and my friend who were going out to the beach on a day, and I really wanted to listen to this mix. All I asked him to bring was a Wi-Fi speaker so we could listen at the beach. So I get into the car, doesn't have the speaker. I'm like, all right, no worries, thinking that I would get an invitation to put on my mix in the car on our way to the beach. Instead, I was held hostage for 90 minutes with classical music, which is fine in some cases, but not getting me motivated to go to the beach. When I finally put on my mixtape, my friend just would ignore it, not listen to it, disrespect it, and it really annoyed me. So if I make a mixtape to go to the beach with you, listen to my freaking mixtape. That is all I have to do.
Sounds like friendship that maybe needs to be gonged.
That was to you, JJ. If you're listening, JJ Sosnowski, that was
I wouldn't have done that.
calling you out. First time I'm calling out somebody on Get It Off Your Chest. JJ.
That's what this is for.
I wouldn't have done that.
Yes.
JJ.
Get it off your chest.
Get it off.
Get it off your chest. Get it off. Get it off your chest. Get it off. All right, so mine, I thought that Julia Louis-Dreyfus was so fantastic during the DNC. She was on point in using it was just like she doubled down on all of the offensive comments that we get and responded to all of it. And it was whoever wrote for her. I assume she obviously knows the writers and she's a part of coming up with what she did. But it was so funny. And I noticed the next day, Christian shared too, that on this critics list, to me, the people inside a bubble who still don't know what's going on, and it was a New York Times critics list, the low points, like let's say there were 7 people, 4 of those people said that she was a low point. Are you kidding me? We need irreverence. That's why we lost this last election, because someone was completely irreverent and people loved it. And we need that too. We need to step up. So thank you, Julia Louis-Dreyfus. You're amazing. You're one of the funniest people ever.
So
All right.
this is a get it off your chest for the people who are criticizing her, right?
Yeah, like
Right.
people that aren't paying attention, because I don't think they have their fingers on
The
what's
pulse.
up.
I hear you,
Yeah.
Sally. And you
then
know
they-
what? I agree with you and what you're getting off your chest.
Yeah, you try to correct it for some reason, but get it off your chest. Get it off. Get it off
Get it
your
off your
chest.
chest.
Get
Get
it
it off. Get it off your chest.
Yes,
Get it off.
Okay, Jasper.
All right, so I have two. The first one is, I think, it's like people who complain about the candidates after the primary. And that bothers me, especially now. We got two choices. Obviously, one is a lunatic. So anyway, don't be
That's
complaining.
a good one, Jazzy. That's a
Don't
really
complain
good
about
one.
the candidates after primary. Do your footwork beforehand. Put in the hours. Now that people spoke,
Let's move forward.
move forward.
That is so no buyer's remorse at this point. We can't have this infighting.
Well,
I
you can have it.
completely
Yeah,
Yeah.
you should have done your work before.
Right,
Spread your
right.
message.
And
Okay,
maybe you
now
did. Good for you.
you did. Okay.
Now we're moving on.
Let's
And
go.
the other
Now,
one
this
is I
is
went
it.
to eat
This is
lunch
it.
today at a Mediterranean place, like a Greek. Well, it's Mediterranean, Greek food, and I got like a chicken sandwich, and it came wrapped in a fucking tortilla. And that shit just drives me insane because it said like pita on the menu, and then it shows up and it's a tortilla, and then I got it wrapped like in a fucking deli, and it's just really disappointing. So
Jazzy, man, you gave us like a macro get it off your chest and a micro get it
That
off.
was a good one.
yeah,
was
well, you know,
Good
like,
one, man.
I love it.
Get it off your chest. Get it
Get
off.
it off.
Get it off your chest. Get it off.
Get it off your chest. Get it up. Thank you, Jasper. Jasper Pat.
Thank you.
Thank
Oh
you.
yeah, now Jazzy, go rest those dirty dogs.
That's what he's doing. He's on the couch with his feet up.
Yeah, I ate a bag of chips already.
Yeah, they're not tortillas.
Exactly.
Thank you, Jazzy.
All right, moving right along, Shanali. I know this must be one of the parts of the shows that you have been looking forward for a very, very long time.
Yes,
And
because
so-
honestly, our next guest is beyond my sister, my family, someone I wanted on this show for so long. She and I have done so much together since the 4th grade. She's an amazing musician, like one of my favorite in the world, one of the best songwriters ever. And she's also hilarious. She comes from Nashville, so if you want to ask her if she likes it or not, don't ask her. And she lives in Atlanta, Georgia right now, which is where I lived. And she and I used to be in a band called Ultra Baby Fat together, which still exists. It just will last till we die. And here she is. Her name is K Michelle DuBois. I call her Michelle, but there's the K because Michelle, because she's a rock star. You know, you never know somebody get her mixed up with someone else. Hi, Michelle. We just have to unmute you.
I love your profile pic. Wow.
Yeah, and then start your video. And then
Oh my God.
Yeah, but that's
There
a
we
cool.
go.
Yeah.
Hey!
Wait, it's asking me to do it again.
No, you're
Sorry.
good.
Oh,
You're
good.
good.
I gotta X
We
this
can
out.
see you. Don't do it again. That was
Hi.
Hi. Oh, maybe now you got stopped. You were fine. I started, hit start video again. Can you
It's
hear
a
me?
good freeze frame though, K Michelle DuBois. Looking real good there.
There you are. Yeah.
This is what happens. It's gonna happen again. I'm just warning you.
Oh, it's okay.
I mean, I'm loving your ensemble.
Yeah, you look amazing.
Wow,
Oh,
and
you
those
guys.
glasses.
I dressed up for y'all.
You look
Yes,
so
thank
wonderful.
you.
Oh my God, those glasses are awesome.
Thank you. I noticed you guys aren't wearing them. I know there's a glare, but
Oh no, you look good. Oh, well,
Well-
Christian got LASIK.
Christian.
Yeah.
Whoa,
He
whoa.
doesn't He no longer wears, this was right before the pandemic, like right before.
It
So
was.
fancy.
And
That's
then for-
another. Now you look like a stern teacher who's frozen, like gonna punish you. turning in my homework. I'm sorry, Miss DuBois. I'm sorry. It won't happen again. I swear it won't.
Oh my God. I don't know what. We'll just have to laugh about it because I'm telling you.
Well, now we can see you. So
You will
Fucking
become a new,
Comcast.
you'll become a
Fucking
new
Comcast. I'm going to get that off my chest. Comcast.
character. So,
No.
I mean, Shanali and Michelle, I mean, I don't even know where you guys are going to begin. You guys have known each other since basically you both have just come out of the womb and just came
Yeah.
onto this earth. Talk to us.
Michelle was my first girl crush, for real. Like, she
Yeah.
was a new student at our elementary school, and she had the cool cut. She was one of the only girls that had a short haircut.
It was a Dorothy Hamill.
Yeah, it was a Dorothy Hamill. She's so pretty, and she was sort of shy. That was the thing, and I was like, oh my gosh, look at that beautiful girl.
Aw.
And we ended up being teamed together because we both played violin. We lived close to each other. I mean, everybody in our school lived close, but so we started playing violin together, and that's really where the friendship like blossomed. And that is so amazing because I use this as a reference point for all my friends who have kids. Like, if you have a friend that you have loved since a young age, you could be best friends forever. Like, it's such a fantastic, crazy thing, you know? I don't think most people have it.
A lot of people don't, and it's like, you know, at a certain point, it's not just a friendship. It's literally like we're sisters.
Yeah.
I mean,
My
and so Christian.
Uh-oh. Yes, Auntie Michelle. Yes,
You
Auntie
guess
Michelle.
what now, buddy? No. You give her some help. She can't win, man. First she's trying to look like a rock and roll star, then she looked like a soccer mom.
Wow.
You look adorable, Shanali.
Thank you for amplifying my voice, K Michelle DuBois.
No.
I was saying that she looks fantastic too. I was just telling her to give it a minute, okay?
No, but you shared that pic, my man. She got my back, so
Woo,
you got
sister from a different mister, coming from it quick. Whoa.
I do. I got her back.
So after violin, it transformed and evolved, and you guys stay connected. Music seemed to be a very central theme of what you guys stay connected to. Like, what was the evolution around that?
Yeah, well, so my parents had a little studio in the house, and that included a drum machine, synthesizer, and so we moved from orchestra to coming home after school and like making up raps. And I mean, it was always anything we ever did was either making music or like drooling over various musicians.
right.
Oh, various musicians. Right. I have some questions in respect to your shared history that we will be asking you in a little bit.
It's true.
Sorry about that.
I thought it was a dog over here. It was outside
And
my
you know what that means? That means Mr. Pribble is home.
Oh, so this is another crazy thing. Michelle is married to a man who has the same initials as Jasper Patch, Jim Pribble.
Nuts.
It's crazy. JP.
JP.
Yeah,
I know.
it's too much. I mean, those are, you know.
Do they have any
doesn't-
traits that have more commonality than just the initials, do you think?
Oh yeah.
Maybe like their not so much personality, but their mannerisms, and
They're laid back.
they're both very laid back. Yeah.
So back to you two. When did you guys stop going to school with each other?
College.
College.
Wow. So all the way up until college, you guys
Yeah.
were in school. And then when did you start your collaboration with actually
Playing out.
Playing out? And that was through Ultra Baby Fat, right?
Yeah, here in Atlanta. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And the
Yeah.
thing is, Michelle and I still were close in college. She went to UT Knoxville, and I went to Vandy, which is like 2 hours away from each other. So we were friends with each other's friends in college and everything.
I'm sorry, is it University of Vandy?
No, Vanderbilt University.
Oh, Vanderbilt. Oh, thank you for that.
And I was at UT Knoxville.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Fantastic.
Yeah. And during that time, Shenali was one of the DJs, and Vandy has a super cool, or they had, RIP, a super cool college station in Knoxville. I was in my first band. So we both continued like doing the music stuff.
Right. And then you get to Atlanta.
Uh-huh. Yeah. And meanwhile, we started going to see bands when we were 13 and would see every band that came to town.
Okay, so actually, for at this point, Jason, can you actually pull up some archive photos? Now, let's zoom in on this. This is a special treat.
Not that one, but that one.
There we go. Okay, wow. Look at these two teenagers.
Yes.
Can't tell you nothing. 2 scoops or 1. What you talking about? Banana split? That is backstage in the back office of a Baskin Robbins in the vintage and original costume for uniforms, I should say.
They don't make those anymore.
They don't make those anymore. Now, Baskin Robbins, that was a home, I believe, of 31 flavors. Is that true?
Yes.
Not 32, not 33. We're talking about 31 flavors.
31! Oh my God, you can't do it up. Yeah.
I can't mess it up. But
they would rotate them. Like there were seasonal ones, like there was a baseball one.
I mean, I have to think that must have been like the coolest job for you two. Like, cause everybody would roll in. You would see like all like who's with who. You would have all like, you'd be caught up with the gossip. Is that true?
No, you know what? Our high school friends didn't come to it was kind of on the outskirts, but Shenali did wait on Jay Leno once.
What?
Yes. And I was a fan back then. I was a fan in those days. But if you notice, it's funny because even there, look, we look great. We look great. But Baskin Robbins changed our lives in many ways. We started eating a lot of ice cream.
I just love the assertive K Michelle like point, like what's up? What scoop is your, like you want to taste? You want to taste? Yeah? You want chocolate mint? Yeah? You want that? It's amazing. Let's keep on going down. Let's keep on going down a trip down memory lane.
I love that.
Look at these 2 studious, young budding intellectuals, artists, the brooding artists. Oh, they both have lots to say. What's the daydream, K Michelle? What's on the tip of Shenali's tongue? Yeah, K Michelle, what is your daydream right now?
Oh my God, what am I thinking about? I don't know, but I tell you one thing, I wish I had those eyebrows again. I want those eyebrows back.
Let's ask Shenali. Shenali, you wish you had those glasses too?
Did you guys notice? Now those were vintage, like they were made of glass, and they got
look
them
amazing.
At a thrift store. Do you know? And
I love
have
them.
a slight little fuzz on the upper lip. You can tell. I do see that. But we were just starting. We had just started playing in our rock and roll band, Ultra Baby Fat. At that time, Baby Fat together.
Wow.
And I mean, it was such an exciting. We lived in Atlanta, and there was such a cool music scene.
Totally. Now, something I'm noticing, Shenali, is I think that the length of your hair in this picture was the length your hair was before this haircut. I just want to note that is probably what 3 inches looks like.
That's right.
Wow.
Fair enough. Okay, let's continue. Let's continue. Oh!
This is adorbs. This is way back. This is junior.
This is before Baskin Robbins.
Yes.
Okay. And I see the color coordinate. It must have been around 4th of July or something because I'm seeing a lot of red, white, and blue. Very patriotic. Shenali, do you have a headband on?
Yes. Yes. I mean, that was a decorative headband. That was not to reduce the sweat.
No, that was during the Let's Get Physical Olivia Newton-John days.
Yeah. And was that 8th grade day, or did we go to the World's Fair?
Those were our outfits we got to go to the World's Fair. Yes.
That is some World's Fair realness. Okay, let's continue on. Trip down memory lane.
Yes.
Oh man! All right, Kool It and the gang. Check out these sweaters. Don't care. No way. Look at those. Look at Shenali's sweater.
That's a coat.
I remember that coat.
That's a coat.
That's a
Oh
coat. You wear that coat. You still have that coat?
Now look, this is when we start. This is for me when I stopped eating Big Macs. Because at this point, I just, when you're a teenager, you just eat. And you move up on the food chain. And it was like, oh, I went from a cheeseburger to a Big Mac. And Big Macs were good.
You might as well call the coat Big Mac. I mean, dang, that coat looks like a double cheeseburger. What the hell? I mean, wow. Okay, let's continue on.
Everything was bigger in the 80s.
That's true.
Yeah.
Now, talk about bigger. Now these guys got a bigger stage. She ditched the Big Mac coat, obviously. These two are rocking out in all black, living their rock star lives. Where was this picture taken?
This is in Atlanta.
Well, I don't know. Maybe a place called The Point, Christian.
Woo, Michelle, you quick, girl. Now, how far along were you? Were you already? How long had you already been a group?
This is our second album release. This is our album release party for Silvertone Smiles. I know that.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I didn't know.
Yeah.
Good job.
And we had a huge party, and we were signed to what we would call like a semi-major label, but it was in terms of getting to this place where you get a check from people in New York and you get to play music and they buy you a PA. Like all those things now are really special.
Michelle, what's your memory of that time?
Oh my God. Well, my memory of that time, it seemed like a dream because it was the only stretch of time because I worked all the way through college and we actually got to take some time off and entirely focus. And we were in our 20s. I mean, we were in our really early 20s. And it was the first time since we worked at Baskin Robbins that I didn't have a regular job and we were just supposed to be focusing on the music. And so
who would you say were the biggest inspirations, Michelle, for like Ultra Baby Fat?
Oh my God. People ask me questions like this. I always draw a blank. I don't know. We just inspired each other. Chanel inspired each other.
And we loved bands. I mean, we watched every kind of band, I would say.
Yeah, we liked everything. We really, think about it. We had MTV from the night that it started streaming. I'm saying streaming. That's not even a thing back then. But we had it from the very first night, and we watched all of it. So
we loved the Replacements. I feel like we had the spirit of, let's rock. It wasn't.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that question's really born out of it. Like, I watched the Joan Jett documentary like last year or something, and I know you guys she was gonna before you guys clearly, but I'm wondering like when you were on the scene, like being kind of the two front women of this like rock and roll band, like was that a thing then, or was it like kind of like not a big deal? I mean, Chanel, you talk about kind of the dynamic of women being in comedy. I wonder if it's the same around the time that you guys were at in your career with this music in the industry.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean, it was kind of a different thing. It was like, but there were more and more of them were coming up. Like,
I mean, look at the crowd in this pic. Those are all guys.
It looks like a frat, like it looks like frat boys, it's wild to see what was your audience. So that's why I was asking. Do we have any more pics, Jason? Let's continue on trip.
Yeah.
What's this one?
Oh yeah. This was pretty exciting because we didn't know when this was going to happen, and we were on our way to South by Southwest in Texas, and we stopped at a gas station, and this was there. We knew that was going to be on a bottle, but this was a bottle of this Jones soda that was there, and they put all these different pictures on bottles. We were one of them.
Now, Michelle, what was in, have you ever tasted bug juice?
You know what? I never did taste it. Did you, Chanel?
I don't think so.
You didn't taste the juice that you were the face of?
No, I never tasted it. I never tasted it.
You don't even know what was in it?
I have no idea. It looks pretty horrible, doesn't it?
Well, you know what? I've learned to just reserve my comments and questions like that. That sounds like a dangerous. But yes, actually, it looks like tangerine juice or something.
It had different flavors. I know that. It had
They're
different-
all different
Okay.
colors.
Well, that's amazing. I have to say, I've never been on the cover of a bottle. So that is something that you all can be very proud of. And do we have anything else in this deep archive?
Oh, this is sweet.
Oh.
This time last year, July 2019. Thank goodness we got to do this. We had a reunion tour or dates, and those are our beloved bandmates that played with us in the final years that we were playing in Atlanta together. It's Jeff Holtz and Jody Belinsky.
And that was just last year?
Just
Yeah.
last year.
Look
Yeah.
at that, pre-pandemic, touching each other, no mask, not a sanitizer in sight. That looks amazing. No
I know.
social distance. Okay, so we can stop sharing the photos. Now, Michelle, I have some quick trivia questions for you since we are going down this just really magical trip down memory lane with you and Shanali.
Okay. All
And
right.
my first question, Jason, you can get, don't share it yet, but you can get our little clip ready. And so you've known Shanali for a very long time, clearly. And so I have some questions. What song led Shanali to understand that you, Michelle, was hilarious? Now, as Michelle is thinking about this question, and I will repeat the question, the audience members at home can chime in and type in your response. What song do you think led Shanali to understand that Michelle was hilarious? Do 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 do. Oh, Michelle?
Making it.
Jason, let it roll, let it roll.
I'm solid gold. I've got the goods. I've got the chance.
Okay. Time. Let's not have too much fun on the Zoom, man. This is about to blow the Zoom.
Oh, true. I can
Wow, Michelle, good work.
I remember this like it was yesterday. We were practicing violin. We were very serious, and then the song comes on, and there's this part where there's like sounds of lasers in that song, and Michelle busted out her laser gun and did this dance with the do, and I was like, oh my gosh, she's hilarious. I had no idea. That was the beginning.
Wow. All right, that's question number one. For all of you who don't know Making It, I suggest you watch the rest of that video. Hopefully we can drop the link in our little chat session. All right, we're moving on. Number two, Michelle, you're so far, really good track record so far down this trip down memory lane. Hitting all the stops. All right, here we go. What do you think the name of the hip hop artist Michelle and Shanali covered and made their own lyrics up on the 8-track when you were in the 6th grade? Now, hold on. Now, the other people who are listening what artist?
I notice a lot of our mutual friends are commenting.
They're
So guys,
commenting. So what artist? This is a deep cut, Michelle. You got to go back deep down memory lane. In the 6th grade. What artist do you think? The name of the we gave you a clue. Hip hop artist on that 8-track. Boom.
God dang, I know the song, but I can't remember who did the original. Can I just sing the chorus?
Sing the chorus
and then
let's
maybe
see if
the
our audience can guess it. Sing the chorus and our audience will guess it.
It's like that, and that's the way it
is. Jeff, who is it?
Let's do it, Michelle. I think you got to do it one
That
more
is it.
time for our
That's
audience.
it. You guys got that.
It's
That's
like that, and that's the way it is.
is. And that is Run DMC. She got it.
Oh man,
That is
dang,
it.
that's
Shanali's going to give you credit, I'll give you half a point. Okay, you're at 1.5.
Yeah, that's not full credit. I don't get full credit for that.
Okay, so now, Shana, I have two more questions for you. How did Michelle get the nickname Vanilla Chai? So before Michelle answers that question,
Sareka, you know why she is Vanilla Chai. I know you're out there. If you want to put that in the comment section.
Vanilla Chai. We didn't say caramel. We didn't say mint or kiwi. We said Vanilla Chai. Why you think? Do 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 do. Boom boom boom. Yes, Michelle. Yes, girl. Vanilla. All right. Boom, Michelle. Talk to us.
Well, I mean, literally, I was sitting with my girls one night, and I was the only vanilla one, surrounded by a bunch of Indian beauties. And someone said,
Did you just say that you were the only vanillin?
yes. And then one of them, I think it was Mala, said, okay, Vanilla Chai.
It's true.
Now, you know what? Honestly, in this troubled time of racial identity and just how do we talk about each other, I would love to replace Caucasian with vanilla in. I would be a proponent of that. My fellow vanilla ins, the light of the melanin, vanilla in. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
There's some wrapping around that.
But
wow.
that's true. And Christian just added knowledge about this great human. She would dance in the Indian dances with all the Indian girls. She was the only vanillan that would dance, and she was as good, if not better. She could sing the songs better than us. She was better.
It was kind of like a compliment.
Yes, she was better at being
No, it was a compliment. Yeah, it was a compliment. Yeah. In fact, Converse had this thing where you can get something stitched on the side of the shoe, and I got Vanilla Chai stitched on the side of my shoe. Yeah, so I was walking around sporting my Vanilla Chai shoes for a while.
Yo, K Michelle, clearly you have some really great fashion sense. I would buy a Vanilla Chai fan t-shirt for you just to let you know. Perhaps it could be the name of your next album. I'm not trying, to be too influential here.
Sareka is also confirming on here our honorary Indian, doing all the Indian dances since childhood. Yes, wow. There you go.
I sure did.
So that concludes our trip down memory lane with K Michelle and Shanali Bomick. Everybody, can we clap it up? Wow, that was amazing. Now, I don't know too much about this, and I'd love to learn a little bit more because Shanali just told me a little bit about it. But you're do so many different things. Have a lot of different plates spinning as an artist, as a creative person, as a woke person in the world. And something that you're up to is this: you do a podcast, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you hear me?
Hey,
Michelle, are you with me? Oh, she's crunched up.
She's like waiting for it to catch up.
There it is. I'm sorry.
Okay.
So Christian was just saying that he knows that you are involved in so many different things and you're an artist that has worked on so many different projects. But we also wanted to make sure one of them, in addition to music, is your podcast. In these times, it's so important to talk about the subjects that you do. Her podcast is called Zen Noodle Pie, which no one is going to have a name like Michelle's podcast name. So
what's it about, Michelle?
Yeah.
Well, I, like a lot of people, I deal every day with an anxiety disorder. I realized that I had that when I was in my 30s, but then it started making a lot of other things in my past started making a lot of sense. And one day I woke up and those words were just in my head. And I was like, what am I supposed to do with that? And a friend of mine she actually works for Clark Howard. She produces Kim Drobes. She was like, I think we're going to do something with that. And so we started, she at first was helping me and we made the podcast. And I wanted to talk to creative types about their experiences with anxiety and like what they have learned, how to manage it, like where they go for comfort and anything like that. But you know what? Sometimes have someone on and we just talk for an hour, and we'll only kind of skirt over that.
Right.
So
Got
it doesn't always, but really it's very self-serving in a way, because as you guys both know, when you're involved in so many projects, you are at the mercy of other people. And so there's a lot of holding your breath and waiting for things to be done. And that's the kind of thing that causes me, anxiety. So it's really, when I finish these podcasts and put them out, it's like letting steam out. It's like,
I bet.
Yep.
But honestly, I bet you're helping so many people, and I have to say that I've had to kind of navigate that world, just like as a performer, as kind of a person in front of people a lot, and just kind of as a person. And I have to say that, given this new space of like being completely locked down, and employment kind of being questionable at this point, and so many other, and health and things like that, I've noticed for myself that like the anxiety piece of it is really kind of amped up a little bit. And I mean, was that track with kind of you as well? Because right now it sounds like you're talking about triggers that happen in a more kind of normal world, but now given this new space, is that been compounding you? Or
no, you know what, Christian, it's weird. It's almost like this situation we're in is a distraction for me. So the usual type of anxiety that I generally get, I haven't been dealing with it a whole lot, which is great.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I'm sure, I mean, the fact that other people are kind of in a heightened sense of just feeling anxious, I think the endeavor that you're up to, as much as it may be self-serving, is definitely a good thing in the world. And, it's amazing that the fact now with this other stuff that we talked about, you're not letting it get in your way. You've just come out with some new music and you're still creating, and that's really awesome. So kudos to you on that.
She does not stop.
Thank you so much.
After I left town, Michelle had a band called Luigi, which is amazing and so fantastic. She was the front woman, songwriter. And then she put out, did you put out 2 Luigi albums?
Yes.
Really? And then she also played keyboards in the Rocketeens, which is another one of our favorite bands. And then she also started putting out solo material. She's already on her 3rd solo album. And
I've got my 4th. My 4th is I was going to put it out, it's just what it is. It was going to come out this spring, then it was going to be summer. Now I've decided to put it out early 2021.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's funny, but I almost was like, I need to change the title. But literally, the album is called The Fever Returns.
And was that before the pandemic?
Yeah, yes, because the title song I wrote in April 2019, because I had a bout of strep throat that wouldn't leave. And when it came back, I was like, well, the fever returns. And then I was like, oh, I'm going to think of that as a different way. Like the fever for living, the fever, like the fever for the flavor of Pringle. I'm just going to think of it in a
flavor.
I'm going to think of it as fever for leaving the nest, fever for exploring and living. And so I wrote the song, based on that. And from there, I just wrote the whole album. But now I've got this album, a title track called The Fever Returns. And I'm like, God, do I really want to call it that?
I say stick with it. I say stick with it. Cinema verite.
I also want to say, Michelle and I took music theory as kids. Like, I'm obviously a big fan of hers, separate from what we do together. But when we were little kids, even then, and her parents are amazing musicians, her dad's a famous songwriter, her brother's a famous songwriter, her mom's an amazing singer and songwriter too. So she comes from a family that's just super talented. But she was the only person outside of one other friend in that class that had perfect hearing. In a music theory class, we all were great musicians, but we would take tests where we had to write down the notes that were being played. Michelle and Steve, what's Steve's last name?
Colbert?
Craig.
Oh,
Craig.
Steve Craig. Yeah.
I mean, Craig Wright. Craig
Right.
Wright? Yeah, sorry. Anyway, so just to say, she's already in a talented family, but she's a standout, and she just put out more music. It's on Bandcamp right now, and everyone should listen to that. I'm going to share everybody's information, Raj and Michelle, so that people
Yeah,
can follow.
and Justin's been putting stuff in the chat. And I should say I was remiss, but Shanali, you put out some new music as well.
I did.
You've been also doing your thing
Thank you.
creatively. And you know, I've been singing in the shower. So we've all done creating, but we've been talking so much about K Michelle DuBois' music. Can we hear some?
Yeah.
Yes, we can. But first, I cannot go without mentioning and saying thank you, because for all I know, he may be watching, but I was given my very first paid production gig by Mr. Tommy Rowe. I don't know if you're familiar. He's basically a living legend.
Yeah, he's a legend.
He did the song "I'm So Dizzy."
My head.
And he asked me to do, I had already done one of his songs as a cover for a project for the neighborhood where I live, Cabbage Town. And he liked it so much, he asked me to produce a song for him to sing on. So check that out. It's called Aggravation. It's out there on all the streamers by Tommy Rowe. And I'm really, really proud of that. It's my very first production.
Thanks for that plug. And quite frankly, that Aggravation, another title that's apropos, can I say, given the times. Hello.
I know, right? It really is. And so here we go.
Yeah, what are you going to play?
I'm going to play, it's called Becoming Real.
Becoming Real. Okay, so Jason's going to put you in the, and this is Michelle's information, but Jason's going to put you in the big screen. So
And we're going to mute.
We're going to be watching you from above.
And we're going to mute, right?
No, I mean, yeah, we can mute for a little while.
Oh, spotlit.
Oh, we're stuck or something, I think.
We can't hear you anymore, Michelle.
Oh, now we can hear. Okay, there she goes. The screen will probably stop, but her audio should work. So.
Okay. Right. Sorry for the freezing. But
that's okay. It sort of adds another layer of awesome fun.
It's avant-garde. It's avant-garde, folks.
Pandemic guard.
Yes. So I watched a lot of TV and movies. And so I wrote this after probably my second viewing of watching Ex Machina. And I was also very into Westworld. So like the second.
Should I take Michelle out of Spotlight? Maybe the bandwidth might.
If that's what you think is
yeah,
gonna
maybe.
Yeah, let's try that.
Try that.
I would recommend
Michelle, we're gonna take you out of Spotlight.
Michelle, we're gonna take you out of Spotlight, and maybe that'll.
To project something real. I wanna need, I wanna be, I wanna feel real ecstasy. What's a girl like me supposed to do? You know the kind, crystalline circuit mind. Opening the main menu. This will no longer help you. Following a new program. Becoming real is the plan. You need a new mechanic. You need a lot of luck with me. You go about your business. I'm here collecting imagery. So I waited all day for you to find out the deal. Tell me straight, tell me true. Am I just someone else's dream? Is it a sin to disagree? What's a girl like me supposed to do? You know, the kind one that's made up her mind. Opening the main menu. This will no longer help you. Following my own program. Now I know just who I am. Annabelle Isabella. Annabelle Isabella. Annabelle Isabella. Annabelle Isabella.
Thank you.
Wow.
Jason, can you put us back in thank you,
Gallery?
Michelle.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
I did
That
it.
was awesome. Yeah, you did it.
If our listeners want to hear that again, Shanali, they should go to
I have
at
Well, what?
follow Michelle. There's two things. Go to her website, K Michelle DuBois. You have to put the
Yes.
K with the Michelle.
KMichelleDubois.com, and that's got all the streamer links.
Mhm.
That is, I'm not sure what at K Michelle DuBois.
Oh, at K Michelle DuBois is your Twitter.
Oh,
You learn something new every day.
K Michelle.
I forget about Twitter. Yeah, I am on Twitter.
Awesome. Cool. Well, Michelle, thank you so much for being part of our We Don't Even Know episode 83.
Thanks, guys. I miss you
I
guys.
love
is
you.
very
That
special.
was
Really
so
great to see you.
fun.
I miss New York so much. I really wanted to come there this year.
No, I know. I'm so happy that we did play before this. Like, we got to play together. We had to
Yeah.
learn all those songs together, and we just did it. It was awesome.
It was
And
so
you
much
know
fun.
what? Yeah, talk to us. Yes, Michelle, you're up. What?
Oh, what we did. Oh, just us practicing last summer and getting to do those shows was so much fun. Oh, and by the way, I'm wearing my El Rocco t-shirt.
Oh, West Daniel.
And that's the last show that I played this year, was at the very end. In fact, it was on Leap Day. You guys, this is a leap year. This year is so wacky in so many ways. Yeah,
Wow.
so the 29th of February was the last show that I played, and it was at El Rocco,
Wow.
our good friends
That's-
club, the best club in Savannah, GA.
Savannah,
Very
Georgia.
cool. Well, I will have to check it out the next time I am down south. Can't wait to go.
I don't know, Christian. You think you gonna have fun down there?
Yeah. Okay, K Michelle. Okay, K Michelle. All right, the two besties. All right. Well, I think we're coming to the end of our show. So.
All right. Well, I want to say thank you to everyone. K Michelle DuBois for being with us tonight. It's such a gift in a way that we weren't having. We could have our friends from other towns be on the show, and my best friend. So this is. Thank you, Christian, for talking about our past together. And
Thank
celebrating.
you, Shanali, for being the tough cookie that you are. And the delicious.
Thank you. I want to make sure we also thank Raj, which I made a thing for Raj too, so everyone knows how to spell his name. R-A-J and Sivaraman, S-I-V-A-R-A-M-A-N. Follow him on Twitter. He's really smart.
Totally.
And we got to thank our crew. Justin, you want to come on in here and say a bye? And Jason Lamb, feel free to say bye.
There
We
he
love
is.
you,
He still has
Jason.
clothes on.
Justin,
There he is.
intern.
Thank you. And Jason, you want to show
you
us
can come
yourself?
in. Jason, thank you so
and
much.
he doesn't have clothes on. Thank you, Jason.
Thank you, guys.
All right,
Oh,
everybody.
Lord.
Thank you all and enjoy the rest of your summer. Live
All right, we'll
large,
see you
people.
next month. Vote. Vote.org. Bye. Love you. Thank you,
Bye.
Jasper Patch. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Oh, wait. Wait, hold on.